Put it under your leg or something, or down between your legs. Now? Blow bubbles? I can kiss. Huh? Oh. That's why I turned it on. Oh. Yeah, it was.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight for BCTV. And if you're watching live, thanks for making some time out of your busy schedule. It's a beautiful day today, and I hope you got outside and enjoyed the sun. It was a beautiful day, and we took the dog for a walk. It was great. It was great. Dog didn't want to come back in, but that happened. So, but of course, I didn't want to come back in either, and I'm sure you didn't either. So it was a great day. Thank you for coming. We're doing something unique this month. We're doing marriage stories here on BCTV. And last week we had Mike and Sharna Bourne. I hope you checked that out. If you didn't, you could always go to our YouTube channel and you can look under the playlist on BCTV, and you can get a hold of that one and watch. It was a lot of fun, and just to hear their story. Well, tonight, I can't wait to get to this couple. They're here to tell you their story. But before we get to them, next week, you're going to want to make sure to tune in. We have Randy and Janine Mellinger are going to be coming on, and they're going to tell you their marriage story. So I'm excited. This is just a great time. I love marriage stories. And so we're here to talk to these two. Tell us, you're unmuted. It looks like you're clear. So introduce yourselves. Tell us, for those that don't know, who are these people? Tell them who you are.
Sure. I'm Fritz, and this is Kris Bontrager.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
31 years, almost 32.
31, almost 32. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys local people? Like, are you born and raised in this area?
Shipshawana. Yeah,
Shipshawana. Both of you?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. So you work at Vanilla Bean, and you do excavation.
Yep.
And so you get to get dirty, and then she gets to give you the sweets, and that's awesome.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So this is a great couple, and I'm just glad that you've joined us here tonight, and we're just going to kind of hear their story. So how did you guys meet? Tell us how I mean, this is a long time ago. So
High school.
Oh, really?
In high school, yep.
Okay. Did you guys go to Westview?
Yes.
Oh,
We both
okay.
went to Westview.
Same grade?
Well, one of us was a little older than the other.
Okay. Who's older? Who's younger?
I'm older.
Okay.
So my senior year in high school, we went to state and cross country, and we went to Indianapolis to run, and this lovely lady came to Indianapolis to watch one of my teammates run.
You didn't have to tell that part.
And after the race, I sort of remember, but she remembers it vividly. I came over and was like, "Thanks for coming."
Really? Now, wait, hold on here. Was there some interest in her, like from you? Or
I knew who she was, but no, nothing really. I
were just kind and being kind, and you were like, well, hello.
Yeah, my arm was numb for like hours after. Like I could feel his hand on my arm.
Are you kidding? You're like, whoa,
It was
this
it was kind of strange because I definitely was watching someone else.
You were there to see somebody else run. This was state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Down in Indianapolis.
What part what were you there for, running?
As a cross-country team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There were 7 of us that ran down there. And
wow. Was that pretty exciting to do state?
Yep.
I'm sure.
We did it 2 years in a row.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. A
Wow.
lot of hard work. So her arm stayed numb, but even on the bus ride home, I remember thinking, she's kind of pretty. She's got these dimples right here, see?
So she got your attention, but you were just being kind. That got your attention. So then how did all this begin? Like, how did a relationship get started?
How did it start? We wrote notes back and forth in school because I was a few 3 grades older.
Okay. So you were a freshman?
Yes.
I was a freshman.
And you were a senior? Oh, when you met. Okay. So,
And I remember writing her a note asking her if we could go out on a date. And I get a note back that says, my mom says when I turn 15, maybe. And I'm going, oh my.
You're like, I didn't know. Okay, now I know. Okay,
'Cause
all
he was
right.
18.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to wait. You literally had to wait. I mean, she was not.
Yeah, I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, okay, I guess let's wait a year. All right. So how did that go? So you waited?
Okay, and we both went to Emma to church.
Went to the same
I mean,
church.
we were in the same
Went
youth.
to the same church. So we were in this,
Really?
same youth.
yeah.
We did youth stuff together, but
Okay.
But beforehand, I knew who you were, but that was it.
That was
Her
it.
dad worked for my dad
Okay.
and drove truck, and I knew her dad well,
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't know her.
So did her parents know that you were interested?
Yeah.
I mean, I talked
Oh,
to him.
what- oh, okay.
I said something to my mom, and she's like, "Well, you have to wait till you're 15, and then we could go on a double date."
Oh.
And so I had to wait, and this was in November. of '88, and then I turned 15 in January. So
Wow.
it wasn't too long, but
Sure.
still.
And then you went on a double date. So was this your first date?
Well, actually, I don't even remember that we went on a double date until,
I don't.
gosh, like we would do, because we were in the same school, so, school functions or whatever, like basketball games and that kind of
And
stuff.
MYF stuff.
And MYF
The
stuff
youth group
with
stuff.
our youth
Yeah,
group.
we did lots.
So,
We were together.
I mean, we weren't like dating, but yet we
We're
were.
dating. Yeah,
I mean, kind
you were
of.
getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And so if you were to say what was your first date, like what would it official, or did you start doing this, getting to know each other, and then did it become, hey, should we become boyfriend and girlfriend? Should we make this a like official or?
I don't even remember.
We made it as official as we could, as fast
Yeah.
as we could.
True.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't really try to hide it from anybody, but maybe your
No.
parents.
No, we didn't even hide it from them because they knew his family.
Oh, sure.
True.
And so they were like okay with it because they knew if it wasn't him or his family, it probably would have been a different story. But
Sure.
because they knew him,
Gotcha.
they were okay with it. So,
So-
I mean, like we didn't like go out on dates or anything, but we
Sure.
just did like
You
youth
were
stuff
doing
together
the
and
stuff already
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you graduate high school and you're dating her. She's obviously got a couple of years left in high school. So how did that go? Did you guys were you say around the area and just work?
Yeah. I worked same place her dad. I mean,
Okay, so then you just worked and just kind of kept dating and
Well,
built
and
a
you
relationship.
coached
track
junior
and
high track. Did you
Right.
do cross too?
High school cross country
Okay,
and
I
then
couldn't remember.
Really?
then junior high track. I was
So
at
he would come to the school, after work, while I was still at school.
And then afterward, I would go to Wanacue in Shipshe
Okay.
because somebody served ice cream
Where
there.
I worked.
Oh, so you got to spend a little time there too. There you go. Okay,
Yeah, I forgot
okay.
about that.
Wow, this is fun. You kind of remember some of these little details. Like I
I'm
remember
impressed that he actually remembered that.
Do you forget things?
I forget a lot of things. A lot of things.
So, so you're dating. Now you're thinking. Are you getting to a point where you're like, we're thinking about marriage, or were you thinking, I think this is the guy, or I think this is the girl? Like, at what point did you know that we're going to get married?
A couple of years into it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't remember an exact time, but
remember.
Sure.
you didn't have a real good home life. I mean, there was tension. There
Yeah,
was
there was
tension.
tension.
And,
Sure.
And you, yeah.
Sure. You might have been looking forward to getting out
Yeah.
and
Yes.
starting.
You wanted
your
to
I
own
was. I was
well,
very looking forward to
Well,
it.
even your junior year in high school, you were ready to get married.
But you waited
was-
until. Did you wait until you graduated? Or?
Well, we got engaged in September of '91, which was
Okay.
my senior year, right after
Okay.
senior year started.
Okay.
And then in February, we found out she was pregnant.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And you have how many kids?
Three.
You're three. So who is this?
It was
Haley.
Haley.
This is all
the
right.
redhead.
This is Haley. Okay. All
So then
right.
we got to go talk to my parents and talk to her
Oh.
parents. And
We actually even got up in front of the church and
shared.
it was a scary situation for
Yeah.
us at that time, but our pastor had anybody that wanted to could come up and, talk to us or whatever. And there was so many couples that came up and were, like they said, we were in the same situation. So it was, I don't know, it was a good experience
Sure.
for being a bad experience.
Like maybe healing,
Right.
Yes, yeah.
make it a better situation
Yeah,
out of a
yeah.
difficult one.
and there was an older couple that took us under their wing, and they were awesome for us.
Wow.
Like our kids called them Grandpa Gene and Grandma Alma.
Oh, and because you had come forward and shared,
Yes.
They
you're gonna
came up-
see my belly grow,
Yep.
and we're not married yet, but we're
Yes.
gonna be.
And they came up and put their arms around us and were like,
Oh.
we were in your exact same shoes many years ago.
Wow.
So
And they stuck with,
Yeah.
they just,
We
we were in
started
a
a small
small
group with
group
them.
with them and just became part of their family. I mean,
That's
it was,
awesome.
that was pretty awesome.
So, so you were probably. When did you guys get married? Was it once you graduated?
Well,
Or-
we were already
graduation
engaged.
plus 6 days.
We were already engaged,
Right.
so we were planning on getting married anyway. So
Yeah.
we had already started the wedding planning.
Yeah, yeah.
But we were planning on getting married in August.
Okay.
And then when I found out that I was pregnant, we decided we're going to
We're
change
gonna
it
move it up
and move
to
it up.
June.
So we moved it up. I got married a week after graduation from high school.
What's your wedding date?
June 6th.
June 6th. Ours is June 29th.
Oh,
So
okay.
June's a good month.
Yeah.
I
It
like
is.
it.
Yep.
So you were ready to go. Were you, I don't know, what were you, like maybe 6 months, 7 months pregnant?
I was about
maybe?
4 months.
4 months
Four
at
and
that
a half
point?
months, yeah.
I can never do math. Right? Oh, yeah, February. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Wow.
But as a young married couple,
Right
there's a
out of the gate,
there's
you're
a
gonna-
baby coming, and
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was not a lot of us time. I
Yeah.
mean, we
Wow.
got ready, and then
Was that difficult? Like
Very
to get
difficult.
pregnant and then to get married knowing a baby is coming. Did you have a place to go? Did you already have a place?
no,
We did.
We had a place to rent that we were. I don't know when this came through that, but yeah, we knew we had a place to go.
Gotcha.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned since that we did not spend a lot of one-on-one time as
Mm-hmm.
a newly married couple,
Sure.
and I think that affected us. Probably still does.
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
we've
yeah,
worked on a
your
lot of
focus
things.
becomes, I got to get a house
Kids
ready
and-
for this
yes,
baby. And then, so my focus is a little bit distracted
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
from our relationship. I mean, you had 4 years, sounds like 3 to 4 years
we knew- yeah,
prior.
right.
But
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
newly married, it would have been
Living
nice to
together,
have
right.
that, as adults. And
Yeah.
wow. So you have your first child and you're
Mm-hmm.
married. And then did you guys hope to have kids quickly after that? Or was this, we'll just kind of go from there?
Financially, it was very tough.
Oh.
You had surgery,
I had gallbladder surgery.
gallbladder surgery, within a month
Month and a half.
after Haley was born,
Oh, wow.
and we
Okay.
had no insurance.
Oh, no. Oh,
No, for that one we did. For the
Okay,
baby,
that one,
for
okay,
Haley we
for
didn't.
the baby, right?
Ah,
okay.
gotcha.
But
But-
financially, it was, whoa, it was.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was.
Wow.
It was really tough, and I had a problem of, I always enjoy work, so we need money, so I work,
You worked.
and a lot.
Now, was that excavating then too?
No, I grew up at a sawmill
Oh,
close to
okay,
Shipshawana.
okay.
Dad started it, and we lived there, and then moved away when I was 10. But yeah, that's all I knew was.
Wow.
But it was
Wow.
running equipment mostly, so.
Gotcha. So did you find yourself working then late hours? Like
Yeah.
you're at home with a baby at that point? Now, was that challenging or were you like, okay, all right.
Very young mother.
Yeah, and almost 2 years ago, there was not near the, help or information given as what there is now.
You didn't get out your
Just-
cell phone and say,
Yeah, I mean-
expect this in the second
Yeah.
month. No,
Yeah,
no
you couldn't
idea.
just Google something, so,
Yeah.
and I didn't know, I didn't know. And so that was definitely hard.
Wow.
Just being a first-time mom and being as young as I was, I'm sure that was part of the issue as well, but
I'm sure.
just some of the things that are typical, and
Yeah.
I didn't know about those things.
Wow. Now, did you say, did you have anybody to talk to? Or I know you said you didn't have Google, but did you feel like you had people around you that you could get any kind of
Well,
encouragement
we lived close
from?
to his parents,
Oh,
so
okay.
oftentimes if I did need help, his mom was available to,
Oh, okay.
come over and
Sure.
help.
But she had her hands
My
full.
mom, and my mom was working, and they lived, it wasn't far away, they lived in Topeka, but
Sure.
it just, if we needed help, it was mostly his family that,
Sure.
at that
Gotcha.
point.
Gotcha. So, and then how much longer until you had another one?
3 years till Kyle was born, and then
Okay.
another 3 years till Benjamin was born. so.
Okay, all right. So, when did you, so tell us a little bit about your marriage. So now you're parenting, you got 3 little ones. Are you still working at the sawmill?
I was still at the sawmill. Benjamin was born in '98. Then Dad sold the sawmill soon after. I still worked there a couple of years, but I was like, I grew up with Dad going to work,
Sure.
and I can't do that with my boys. And it was kind of a fluke thing. I don't know. It was a God thing. But anyway,
Sure, yeah.
I saw a classmate of mine, and he was out moving dirt, and I stopped in. I said, "Hey, is there a job opportunity? And so I worked for him one summer, and I had known all along I want to start something on my own. And
Really?
so about the time we were we weren't on our feet yet, just barely getting our heads above water, we take another dive, borrow money and
Because you start the
the
excavating
yeah.
business.
And
Wow.
yeah, that was That was a huge challenge. It was good for our faith. I mean, we relied on God. We had a great Sunday school class at Emma that really,
we did.
we all supported each other, and that was very encouraging for us. That was
gotcha.
huge.
Had babies at the same time.
That's always fun.
So a lot of kids that are the same ages as our kids. So that was,
Nice.
I mean, we did stuff with them all the time, and that helped.
Gotcha.
Was definitely helpful.
So so at this point, you're looking at, you're like 10 years into the marriage, and is that when you kind of started?
2002,
No
10
kidding.
years.
Then
It's
you've
exactly
got,
10
Not
years.
quite, yeah, not just under 10 years.
Gotcha, and then you start your own business, and it's a new phase. How was your relationship? It was struggling at first because you're going right into. Did it get better, or like during those 10 years with kids, or was it too hard with? We're too distracted. We got babies and getting them different places.
It was, we had a decent marriage.
Yeah, I would say
I
it
mean,
was,
yeah, we got along good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I worked a lot. Well, I thought I worked a lot. Then I started my own business. Then I worked a lot
And then he
more.
worked a lot.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, but it was good for us. I mean, we held to each other when through starting the business, and there was a lot of challenges and a lot of not knowing what's going to happen. So,
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're moving into 10, you're moving on after 10 years. How was married life and family life after that?
we got to visit the hospital many, many, many times. Both of our boys started racing motocross, and
Oh, no.
well, Kyle first got hurt in track
Yeah.
2 different times, had to have surgery once, and yeah, just a lot of things. So it was
A lot of broken bones.
it was a struggle, but it was exciting. I mean,
Sure. Gotcha.
and we had, there was just a lot of things happening until Haley got married in 2016, in the spring of 2016.
Gotcha.
Haley gets married. That fall, Kyle gets married. And we had talked about going into missions, actually moving to the Dominican Republic. Early on, we talked about moving to Kentucky.
Yeah, that was something that we talked about a long
as
for a
missionaries.
long time.
And
Really?
then we talked about moving to the Dominican, and she was ready way before me. Then finally, I was like, okay, fine. And we had an employee that could have run the business. I mean, I'm convinced of it, and it was hard for me to let go.
Sure.
But about the year that I finally said, okay, well, at least I said it out loud. I don't know. Anyway, Haley got married. Kyle got married the next spring. Our youngest graduated high school, and a week later left for the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
So in a year and a half, we're empty nesters.
Oh, wow.
13 months, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's quiet. Now what?
Was that significant, a major change for you guys?
It was, because we spent, 4.5 months before Haley was born, just the two of us. And so we were like lost.
Now it's
Like,
lost.
what do we do? We were like, I kind of did my own thing, and he kind of did his own thing because he was working, and I was taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, making sure that the kids got to their sporting events.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that came to an end, and it's like, oh, what do we do now?
Wow. So did that, how did that go? What happened?
I had too much time on my hands.
Huh?
Work started, we got to where I didn't have to work as many hours. But I had too much time on my hands, and I had struggled off and on through our marriage with pornography. We'd talk about it, and then I'd be fine again for a while, and then I'd slip up, and so that was, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, maybe more, I don't know, throughout our marriage, kind of.
Oh, so you guys had conversations before about this? Wow, okay. And
I never went to anybody for help, though.
Gotcha.
I mean, prayed about it, we talked about
Sure.
it with each other, but
Was that, for some people to find out that maybe the spouse, oftentimes it's the men that are looking at pornography, not always, but the wife goes into maybe some discouragement or depression on that, just thinking like, what's wrong with me, or why am I not enough? There's a lot of questions. Did you go through a lot of that stuff yourself?
I did. We talked about it, and he would try to reassure me that it didn't have anything to do with me, but
Sure.
it still was difficult.
Sure.
And so we would work through it, we'd talk about it, and it usually would go for a while, a couple years, or 2 years, 3 years, whatever, depending. And then it would just kind of, no, it was longer than that, because it was, it didn't happen often during our, like, younger years, but,
Sure.
yeah, it was hard.
Gotcha.
Something to back up too. About the time the kids got old enough to get married, we left Emma Mennonite Church.
Gotcha.
At church there, I was really involved. I spent a lot of time. Sunday school teacher,
that was a
Sunday
big-
school
that was a
superintendent.
huge thing.
helped with
You
a
had
bunch.
that was a big change
Yeah.
then.
And
Haley
then we
was-
changed church.
Haley was a sophomore when we left, when I left there,
Okay.
because I went with her.
Gotcha.
Because she was in a car accident, and she said, "Mom, if we don't go to this other church, I'm not going to church anymore."
Oh,
So-
okay.
So I started going to the other church, and I think it was was it almost a year before you came?
It was a
on
while, because I
regular?
was teaching Sunday school.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm sure that was there questions of people wondering, well, where's Kris? Or,
I think both sides knew.
both sides.
Yeah.
Oh,
They knew that I was going, they knew that he was teaching.
gotcha.
And where he was, at Emma, they knew that
The
I
church
was
you
going
went
with
to
Haley.
was kind of a church plant from people from Emma.
Oh, sure.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
So there was some tension there anyway. Just,
okay.
it didn't bother us, but
Sure.
some of the older folks it really bothered.
Sure. Gotcha. Okay.
So
So you
anyway-
went through some of that change. That's a lot of change too.
And then went to the other church, and then we were new there. We had not really involved in anything. In a small group, we were in a small group soon, but not as far as something that took time at church.
Sure.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. So you off and on battled with the porn addiction. Did it resurface when everybody got out of the house? Like, did you have some?
During that time, and during that time was about when cell phones started.
Oh,
There was cell phones, but there wasn't
not like the
smartphones. Not
smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
The
it was
computer in your hand.
The flip phone
Yeah.
that you couldn't really do a whole lot on anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
And then it just, one thing led to another, and it got, after the kids left, when it was quiet, and then we decided that we're not gonna go to that particular mission field. It was kind of like, I didn't have a goal in life. And I kind of just, and like they say, you start on a slippery slope, it's slippery.
Yeah.
And it got bad for a couple of years. I was unfaithful for a while, and when she found out, we dealt with it. We went to talk to leadership, but it was really rough. It was really rough.
Wow. How many years do you think, where were you, like, years-wise in marriage, when all this really broke loose? Like, what years? Was that
25-ish, 25,
25,
26.
25 years in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, okay. So this is a fairly recent, yes, it's been 4 or 5 years, so, but still, that's fairly recent. But
Right.
So
And it-
how have you guys, how did you handle all this?
I don't know how I handled it. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but I do remember, and I can't even describe it, because the only way that I can describe it is that God crawled into my head and just kind of took over, because I couldn't have done what I did if it wouldn't have been without God.
Did you think your marriage was over?
For a few weeks, I did.
Wow,
It was really tough.
I bet.
At first, I listened to a lot of music.
I bet.
That has been a saving grace for me. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
If it wouldn't have been for the music, I think it would have been even tougher. Like,
Sure.
I don't even know how to,
And some really close friends.
and close friends,
say,
yeah.
did you
Some
talk
very,
to
very close
anybody?
friends.
The first Sunday morning when she found out, we called a close friend couple. They're a little younger than us, but we had done stuff with. They went to church or didn't? I don't remember.
Yeah.
They
we
came.
had- They had gone to church, but came right after.
Okay, yeah. Then they came and spent most of the afternoon with us.
Wow.
They had never been through anything like this, but they were just like, we don't know what you need, but we're here to
We're
talk.
here.
We're
here
just
to
here.
talk.
I mean, they were just there.
Wow.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're still good friends with them.
Yeah.
And then associate pastor at church at the time, was a good friend. His wife was, it was somebody we felt comfortable talking to. I had called him Sunday as well, I think. And then Monday morning, I went to work and got the guys started, and you came and picked me up, I think. We went to their house and sat there and talked with them for, I don't know, a number of hours.
Just kind of maybe told them what
Told
was
them
going
what was
on.
going on, yep.
Wow.
And by that point, I was on the mission committee there, and we were leading a small group.
Yep.
I had just started.
Wow.
So,
Probably felt like, let's put some things on pause. We
Yeah.
got,
We did.
Was
they
it-
were like,
Was
they were
that-
like, you need to stop that stuff and take care of
Take
your
care.
let's
marriage.
take
Yep.
care of home.
They were awesome.
And did you feel like, you know what? I mean, was there a moment where you both said, we need to fight for this? We need to fight for this.
Pretty quick.
I mean, I think that was pretty quick.
For me, it was. For me, it was almost a relief that this is over. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't know how to stop. So, online, I found a
That's right.
Marriage Restored, I believe.
I think that's what it was.
They have throughout the United States. It so happened within 2 months, there was one in Indianapolis.
Really?
We went down 4 days, 5 days, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
And it was a very intense,
It was very,
very intense. We had, the leaders that were there had both gone through infidelity things. And
Wow.
they just shared their lives and
Wow.
said, this is what we had to do to make it. There's things here, you don't have to do what we did, but you have to do something or you won't make it. They were very blunt.
Wow.
They were awesome. We did work, I don't remember the sequence, but all the men would stay in the room. We were in a conference room in a hotel. All the women went to the bedrooms.
Rooms.
We had a set of questions. We wrote letters to each other, whatever, X amount of time, 20 minutes. Then we'd get together, spend time, and share our stories, pray together. Then we'd
Wow.
go back to the conference room as a whole group again, and did that off and on, I don't know how many times.
Yeah. I don't.
So that was over a weekend, or how long?
I
think-
think it was 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was.
A
Yeah,
pretty- but it was
But it
intense.
was intense.
Very intense.
And was it Christian oriented, like
Yes.
biblical based or
Yeah.
something? Wow.
We actually had to. Was it?
We had to interview ahead of time.
But we had to have 2 couples that were praying for us.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Was it?
We had
I
to have
can't
2
remember.
couples, and they shared with those 2 couples in email, like kind of where we're at.
So that they would know, like, specifically what to pray for
Wow.
at that point. And that was really cool. And then also they had a thing on the wall.
At one time, towards the end, they brought like a big scroll,
scroll,
and
yeah.
started pulling it down. These are names of people that are praying for a certain couple in this room at all times, and just kept pulling.
It was-
pulling and pulling. We're like, wow.
It was what,
There was
6 foot up on the wall, and then it was what, another 6 or 7 feet
there was just
on the
a
floor.
lot of people praying for. There were 16 couples there.
Yeah, I don't
think.
remember.
Wow. Did you get to know the other couples, or was this primarily, we're here for you?
Yeah,
I know
it
you're
was
with others. but it's-
Primarily for us. I mean, we
Wow.
would talk to the others like at mealtime or whatever.
Sure.
But because we did our meals all together
Okay.
in
We
the
don't have
conference
any
room. but
relationship with any
No.
of them
Sure,
anymore.
sure.
But
I mean,
Shared experience, but
yeah.
that was as far as it went.
Kind of general, like they had icebreaker questions that you could answer on the table or whatever,
Sure.
but
Wow.
That
So was
was-
it
And
scary
we're-
to go to something like this? Like,
It was.
were you afraid to go, or was it like, no, we got to go, we got to do this?
I think a little bit of
yeah,
both.
I knew we needed to. I needed to.
Yeah.
I did not know what it would do to her. I had no clue. And I've learned since, wow. I mean, huge impact.
Wow.
And then we started Christian marriage counseling that spring. I mean, we had to wait a little bit. We're on a waiting list.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's local, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Can we tell who the organization is? Is that private or
It was
Was that through?
Shetler and Goshen.
Maple City Church?
Yeah,
Is that
Right.
it's Shetler
They're-
something. I don't remember
Yeah.
what the actual name of it was, but it was Shetler.
It's a counseling ministry
Yes.
in their church over in Goshen.
Yes.
And I know a lot about it, so I know it's
Yeah,
a lot of
they're-
good
yes.
counseling.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, so you
Yeah,
guys
that
went
was
there.
Hugely helpful, yeah.
We went there
Okay.
for 3 years.
Okay, like once a week, once a month?
To start out with, I think it was once a week. And then we went to once every 2 weeks. And then once we felt comfortable to not go as often.
Yeah.
And then
Once a month
then
for
we
quite
were
a
going
while.
for once a month, yeah, quite a while.
Okay. And then it got to a point where you're like, okay, I think we're good.
Yes.
I'm sure that was kind of a weird feeling.
It
like,
was, I told her, I said, I feel like we're losing a best friend because
Yeah.
like she knew more about us and like what we had gone through than I think probably anybody else did because
Wow.
like we had to, talk to her about it.
Absolutely.
And
Wow.
she was amazing. She
She dug
helped
up-
us a lot.
Yeah, she dug up things in our past, for me anyway, that I didn't even know, I had an issue with.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got to say, time is getting quickly over, and I need to move you along. But this is heavy, and it's good because I think people need to know that there is life after unfaithfulness.
Yes,
There
there
is. You can save your marriage. It is painful, but you guys are a testimony of, by God's grace, you can.
Right.
It's not been easy, but I'm so thankful that we
Yeah.
have done it. I put the work in. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah, and lean in on God.
Yeah.
It brought our relationship with God a lot closer as well.
I mean, it even got to the point where I at one point said that this was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Wow.
Best, worst thing, I don't remember, whatever.
Sure,
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? I mean, like, it brought us together,
Yeah.
and it brought us closer to God. And so because of that,
Yeah.
like, I feel like if it wouldn't, like, I'm just really curious as to where we would be if that wouldn't have happened.
Sure.
Because we were drifting, like, very quickly apart. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily want to go through it again, but.
Sure.
But
It's
I'm
like-
thankful
yeah,
that we're
yeah.
at where, that we're here
Yes.
and are able to.
So now that you've done counseling, are you still staying on top of things? Like, what are you doing? Or is there something because I think you just didn't you just go to another marriage retreat like last year or something? Or
Yearly.
We've gone to several.
Yeah,
I was
we
gonna say,
we
you
try to
try
go to
to
a number of them.
stay on it.
Yes. It is so worth your time. It's, find a babysitter for your kids
Yeah.
if you have to.
Yeah.
We did spend, each of us separately spent time in Tennessee at a place called
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Okay.
Just her as the victim side,
Sure.
learning what to do, and it taught me a lot of things that I need to work on.
Sure.
A huge thing there that I got was being completely honest with your spouse.
Wow.
Like, well, what's it matter if if I'm doing something that's not wrong, nothing wrong. It doesn't matter if she doesn't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, you need to share.
Wow.
I mean, I don't share with her when I have a surprise party or something,
Sure.
But,
Sure. Yeah, I get what you mean.
but general
Yeah.
things in life, yeah.
Making
If-
sure
if
that you are open and vulnerable and honest and all that. Wow.
Yeah.
So, you have something more to add?
Well, I was just going to say too that like part of what helped us also is that he was 100% like remorseful about it. Like
Sure.
he was broken at that point.
Yeah.
And so I knew that because he was broken, I am also broken, not necessarily in the same way as he is or was.
Sure.
But how can I be critical of him being broken when I am a broken person myself? And that's part of too that's where I'm saying God came in. I have no idea. No, I do know, obviously. God is the only answer.
He is the answer.
It's the only answer. Otherwise, I couldn't have ever gotten to that point.
And the grace she gave me is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Another
Okay.
part, sharing with our kids after the fact.
Okay.
A
Okay.
year and a half later, something, we shared with our kids. We had told them that we're going through a tough time. They knew we were spending a lot of time at counseling. We went through a tough time, but we want to share with you someday.
Yeah.
Year and a half later, our youngest was home for a week or something, from the Air Force. So we're like, okay, Tonight we'll do it.
So we'll talk tonight. Okay.
Kayla and Alex, are you guys home tonight?
Yeah.
So we went to their place. Oh my gosh, I had butterfly. I was sick to my stomach almost. I mean,
Oh, wow. Even though you
And
guys
just-
were doing well,
Yeah.
it still was a nerve-wracking
Just
thing for
to
you to
share
knowing
with
that we had to
someone
share
else.
with our kids.
something awful that I had done. That was hard. That was really hard.
Wow.
But I'll never forget, we told them, they were kind of quiet a little bit, then Alex was like, I don't think of you any less than I did before. For a young man to tell me that was
Wow.
huge. And then he prayed for us before we left.
Yeah.
And then,
And I think that's part of the reason why we waited as long as we did, just because we were nervous about what
Oh, yeah.
our kids were going to think or how they were
Yeah.
going to react.
yeah, they might
And-
disown me. I mean,
Yeah, didn't know.
Did- we had no
he's
idea.
a jerk,
Wow. But they just put, like, how many, 32 years or 31 years prior, you share, I'm pregnant, and you have all these people
yes.
coming around. And then you share a very dark secret, that God is healing, and your family did that same thing. What a beautiful
yeah.
Yep.
forgiveness.
And all three of them were that way.
You know,
They were.
showing that mercy, we've all made mistakes.
Yep.
And it's not that we're trying to say it's okay.
Yeah.
We're just trying to say we've all made them.
Yep.
And without the mercy of God and the grace of God to be able to heal, where would we be?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, now time is coming quickly to an end. So I want you guys to share, if there was a bunch of young couples here, you guys have been through a lot. Ups and downs, the quickly, having children in the home and then, going through porn and unfaithfulness but healing and work and busy and just trying to navigate life. But you're in a good place now. What would you say to young couples? What are some lessons you would share with them that if they came to you, what would you say about marriage?
Oh, yeah, there's one I could share, but only old people say stuff like that.
Okay.
But time flies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spend time with your kids when they're young because they are gone in a hurry. And
It goes
I
quick.
heard that when I was younger, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But no, it's the truth. And another huge thing is be completely open and honest with each other.
Yeah. That's a huge one.
If it's a little bit of something, if you don't take care of it, it will
gonna
just go
keep
bigger and
growing.
bigger. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Good stuff.
We drift apart, and
Yeah.
I drifted way apart.
Yeah. Anything else?
I would say make time for each other,
Yeah.
where, like I said, get a babysitter. I know that some people are not, don't have family close or whatever, but find a friend or somebody in the church that would be willing to watch your kids for once a month, and make that time, because we didn't. We just, he kind of, like I said, he kind of did his own thing, and I kind of did my own thing, and that didn't help us, growing apart, because that was part of the reason why we did grow apart, was
Yeah.
because we were kind of separate. Like, he just
Yeah,
did
very
his,
much so.
just had separate lives almost.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
make sure you,
it's like intentionally investing in the
yes,
relationship.
and, yep. And communication is
Yeah.
huge too.
Anything
Talking-
else?
Talking to each other.
Well, I know
think so.
you would say, I'm stirring the pot here, but you would say, and it's the Lord.
Absolutely.
It's
Huge.
the Lord.
100%.
You cannot do this
No,
without the Lord.
I could
Now,
not
you
have done
can, but you will
Yeah.
never know how to get through hard times without the Lord.
Right.
it would
And you
never,
need
it
the
won't be
Lord.
the same.
And you need the Lord at all times because
Yeah,
the devil will always
yeah,
poke and poke.
I bet.
And try and try.
I bet.
So, yep.
Wow, man, I've heard this story. You told me this story, and I'm still moved by it. And it's just a great testimony of God's grace and mercy. Thank you for being so honest and so real with us. I think that there's a lot of marriages that what's going on behind closed doors, if only we knew.
Right.
Yep.
People are struggling in their marriage. People are fighting. People are not, like you said, drifting apart. And it's like, man, you guys are a testimony of God can pull this together. God can bring new life and new direction and purpose and joy in marriage. And that's great.
One thing I learned, sorry, hope we're not running over
No,
time.
you're fine.
One thing I learned was an affair can be an emotional affair, and that is just as damaging as any other affair.
Absolutely.
And that's something I've helped some people with, talked with
Yeah.
I mean, close friends that I shared stories with, but there's people that go through stuff like that where somebody is just very friendly with someone else and shares their life story with someone else, but not their spouse.
Mm-hmm.
That also just divides a marriage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could talk about tonight. We could talk about guarding your marriage, which is kind of what you're talking about there. We need to guard our thoughts, guard it from the people around us, what they could discourage us in the wrong way. We need some guarding with these things right here, these phones.
Absolutely.
You know, and we do that. We actually have a thing called Covenant Eyes, and we offer it free of charge to all of our church members. So you just have to contact me. I know that's a humbling thing, but honestly, know this, that it's very private. No one knows except me that if you need it. And what it does is it just puts it's a accountability on our phones, so that if I see something, it will go to my accountability partner that I was looking at some things. And what they do is then contact me and say, let's talk about it. And that's something that's really good. Counseling is important. It's available. We do biblical counseling. Maple City does great counseling. There's counseling. There's people available that want to walk beside you. You're not alone in this. So if you're going through hard times, please, please, please reach out. Reach out. Reach out to these two. They would love to talk with you and find some answers to give you direction, to help you get some help that you need where you're at in your marriage. Well, listen, thank you guys so much. This is so good. We're going to close with a word of prayer. And ultimately, like they said, you need the Lord. And if you're watching tonight, or this has been shared to you for you to watch, and maybe you're not going to church or interested in the Lord, listen, a relationship with Jesus, that's where it starts. And that's what you need in your marriage. That's where it starts. The one who made this wants to be a part of it. And so why not invite him in? So why don't we take a moment and pray? Would you bow with me for this moment? And if you're watching tonight and watching this video and you've never bowed the knee to Jesus, I want you to start this relationship with the Lord right now by just whispering this prayer to him. Just whisper this prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you for loving me so much that you were willing to come to this place, to die on a cross for me, to pay for my sin, so that I can experience the mercy of God. And then to rise again from the dead, so that I can know that I am part of your family for eternity. I surrender my life to you here tonight. And Lord, I just want to pray. I thank you for Kris, and I thank you for Fritz and just their story. Thank you for the testimony that it's been. I know, God, you're going to use it for an encouragement to a lot of people that are watching this show. Lord, I pray that you would encourage them, help them to know if God can do that with these guys, God can do it for them. God can bring healing, God can bring hope, and God can bring answers to their marriage. And so, Lord, I pray that they would have the boldness to reach out, to ask for help, to know that they're not alone. Lord, we love you. We give you glory and honor and praise. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure to tune in next Tuesday night. Randy and Janine Mellinger are going to be talking to us and telling us about their marriage journey. And I think you're going to enjoy that as well. And so thanks for joining. If you're on Facebook, let us know how this encouraged you tonight. And also share this out there. So let people know their story. And because people need to know that there is hope, that there is hope in marriage. Have a great night. God bless. We'll see you next time.